Well, if you were opportunistic investors, I would go for Spain or for other countries where the situation for opportunistic investments are perfect. But as I know you, and with your mustache, you really look like being a very moderate and very core investor. And so my choice would be Germany. What a surprise! And I would split it in between residential and office, 50-50, and I would invest it in prime locations in regional areas. So it will be returning something like 6 to 7%.
Okay, good. Thank you. Martin. Yeah, first of all, I would buy Aareal bank shares. But not for all of it. Then I would buy CeGeREAL shares. And if I had to invest it into real estate markets, I think office renovation schemes here in Paris, in good locations in Paris and Ile-de-France, maybe also in La Défense. I think that could be a very interesting investment.
Okay, very good.
You just steal my ideas. Actually, the NAV of CeGeREAL is roughly this amount. So I will probably make a larger buyout on my own company. Nevertheless, yes, I support the business model of CeGeREAL, and so I will definitely invest in the same segment, meaning light renovation of excellent building. You just need maybe some kind of green layer and light upward standard. This is it, yes.
Great. Diane.
Red.
Oh, yes. Well done.
Well, I try to keep it simple, but I'm not sure I'll be able to. So, who are you? Are you an insurance company or are you a private investor? If you're an insurance company, of course, then you will have one day Solvency II on your back, and you will have to probably then invest into direct assets rather than into other real estate funds. But if you are not, probably the first thing I would do is I go to see Aareal, for example, and double the money. And then do a mix of different cities throughout Europe. Choose those who are easy to manage, where you have access to management quite easily, and take a mix of office space in good locations where you can create value, for example. So good locations, refurbishments. Have a mix of probably what you call secondary cities, stable investments where you have higher yields than you would find in the prime and core locations in the big cities. And I think I would rather stick with offices and probably reconversion in hotels, because that can be quite interesting as well right now.
I think there's not really a lot to add to what you have already heard. I think, as I'm a lawyer and risk adverse, you can imagine that I would certainly take out another 500,000 because I would fear inflation. And with inflation, my debt would go down, and therefore I would take another 500,000 from my bank so that I have 1 billion to spend. Then I would certainly look first country risk, as all investors would do. And I would certainly choose a little bit, I would go to Poland, to Warsaw. I think there's still something to do in office and most probably also in logistics. Who knows? Then I would try to get into Paris. Certainly it would be nice to have the old offices, which you can really not reconvert into a modern office. We would try to reconvert that into I would say simply nothing domestic things. So we would have apartments over there in the 8th and might be in the 16th arrondissement. We would reconvert it into something different to make really a nice margin out of that. We heard about nursing houses. My experience with nursing houses would be nice to do that in the south of France or in the northern part of Spain. But there you have to be very careful to choose really the right manager and the right people. And from my experiences, if it's not a luxurious nursing house, you don't make money. So it must be luxurious, must be in the south of France, should be a chateau or something, nice place across the sea, so that you can really live nice on your living. And the people have to have really a pension scheme which is supporting their living over there. So that's quite important for me. And then I would certainly try to link up with the guys who can do that much better than I can do with a loan starter. So to say, you have 500 million, do something with it. I would only like to have 15%. So that would be my spending.
Okay, very good. Guillaume. You can assume I'm more exciting than my moustache suggests, if it helps. But
Well, pretty much of the strategy for offices have been said, but I think that with 500 million, I would leverage it to raise it up to maybe 1 billion, which is one of the critical size to have a pan-European diversified best optimal allocation for Europe. I would maybe, just like a recipe, take some ground, solid foundation of income returns, so stability, defensive, safe havens, just like Germany, but also trying to take some growth, manufacturing core in central locations where the supply risk is very much restrained, taking some development risk in logistics, such as Poland, for instance, where we can see some growth perspective, and retail, but going for dominant schemes, and add a little bit of higher risk appetite towards Spain.
great, thank you very much. And thank you very much to the panel for a really interesting discussion. Thank you.